Suspension repairs can destroy your wallet, with bills climbing past $5,000. The scary part? Most drivers are killing their suspension without even realizing it through everyday habits they never think twice about. Today I'm exposing 15 suspension secrets mechanics don't want you to know, plus 2 bonus tips that could save you thousands. Some of these are so simple you'll wonder why no one ever told you. Point 15. Watch your load distribution. Your suspension hates an uneven load. Throwing heavy items on one side of your trunk puts extra strain on shocks, springs, and bushings. Over time, your car may even start to lean. Once that happens, alignment shifts, tires wear unevenly, braking balance suffers. I once saw a minivan come in with destroyed shocks, all because the owner carried a toolbox on one side for months. The fix is ridiculously simple. Balance your load. Put heavy items in the middle, spread weight evenly, and tie things down so they don't slide. Trucks and SUVs? Split weight across both sides. Even 50 pounds out of balance can quietly eat away at your suspension. Keep things level, and you'll keep hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars in your pocket. And here's the kicker. The damage doesn't always start on the road. Sometimes it starts the moment you lift your car. 14. Mind your jack points. Lifting your car the wrong way can silently destroy suspension parts. Many people place the jack under control arms or sway bars, but those parts bend easily. Once bent, alignment angles shift, tires wear strangely, and noises creep in. The safe way. Always use the manufacturer's marked jack points look for notches, arrows, or reinforced pads. Trucks usually use frame rails. Cars often use pinch welds. Never assume every flat metal spot is safe. One customer brought me a sedan that constantly pulled to the right. The culprit wasn't worn tires. It was a bent lower control arm from a single bad lift. That mistake led to a $900 repair. Protect your suspension geometry, use jack pads. Place stands correctly, and lower slowly. Get this wrong once, you could be paying for it every time you drive. 13. Don't let rubber seals crack. Suspension relies on rubber bushings and seals to cushion impacts. But over time, heat and dirt dry them out. Once they crack, grease leaks, metal grinds, and parts fail early. I saw a Civic owner who ignored a tiny clunk. He thought it was the shocks. Turns out, $20 bushings had cracked and destroyed surrounding parts. The repair bill? Over $1,200. The fix? Clean and treat seals with a conditioner like a T205. Spray it on control arm bushings. CV boots and strut tops a few times a year. It keeps rubber soft, flexible, and sealed. Think about it. Spend $20 on prevention or $1,000 on repairs. Easy choice. But cracked seals are nothing compared to the disaster that happens when your suspension's heart is forced to overwork itself. 12. Protect the compressor. Air suspension systems rely on a compressor. And when it fails expensively. A Range Rover owner once ignored a small leak. By the time the compressor quit, repair bill was over $3,000. Leaks are compressor killers. Even a pinhole makes it run over time, wearing it out early. Moisture is another silent enemy if the dryer filter clogs. Water sneaks in and eats away valves and airbags. The cheap fix: check for leaks by spraying soapy water on fittings. Listen for hissing and replace the dryer filter before it clogs. Park overnight. If the car sags, you've got a leak. Catch problems early, and you'll extend the compressor's life by years. Ignore it, and you'll wish you had when the bill lands in your lap. 11. Stop. Abusing your car. Suspension parts aren't designed to handle racetrack abuse on public roads. Hit a pothole at 60 miles per hour, and your springs and shocks take the full punch. Ease over it at 30, and the damage is almost nothing. One SUV owner I worked with drove aggressively on rough streets. Within 3 years, his shocks, springs, and control arms failed. The $3,600 repair. Another customer with the same SUV, but gentle habits? Still on original suspension after a decade? Driving style matters. Every bump, pothole, or hard landing adds wear. Coil springs that should last 19,000 cycles can burn out in just 1,200 with rough use. Slow down, avoid curbs, and glide over potholes. It's not just safer, it can literally triple your suspension's lifespan. 10. Conduct. Regular wheel alignment. Most drivers skip alignments because they think it's a scam. That mistake quietly kills tires and suspension. Here's the math. A $150 alignment. K protects $800 worth of tires and thousands in suspension parts. Misalignment stresses ball joints, tie rods, and bearings. It also makes the car drift and tires wear unevenly. At least once a year or after any hard impact, get an alignment. Many shops offer free checks during tire rotations. Do a quick pull, test yourself. If the car drifts on flat ground, it's misaligned. One small adjustment now prevents major repairs later. Think alignments are optional? Your tires and suspension would strongly disagree. 9. Clear out your trunk. That clutter in your trunk isn't harmless. Every extra box, tool bag, or leftover load adds stress to your suspension. Springs sag, shocks overheat, and bushings split. I saw a sedan carrying renovation tiles for months. By the time the owner removed them, the suspension had collapsed. The bill: $1,400. The solution is free. Keep only essentials like a spare tire, jack, and first aid kit. Spread weight evenly if you must carry gear. Lightening your load improves handling, shortens braking distance, and extends suspension life. Why haul junk when it's hauling your money out of your wallet? 8. Protect your strut mounts. Strut mounts may look tiny, but when they fail, repairs cost big. A new strut mount is $20. Ignore it and you're paying $800 to $1,300 for full strut replacement. Potholes, curbs, and sloppy repairs crush these mounts. Cold weather stiffens them, so morning clunks aren't always fatal. But prevention beats panic. Keep them flexible with conditioner sprays and inspect during tire rotations. Think of them like shoelaces. Replace early and they hold everything together. Ignore them and you'll trip into expensive repairs. And here's the wild part. An even smaller piece of hardware can wreck your entire suspension. 7. Tighten your suspension bolts. Suspension bolts slowly loosen with vibration. A single loose bolt means bushings wear faster, ball joints shift, and alignment drifts. The fix: retorque suspension bolts every 5,000 to 8,000 miles, usually with tire rotations. Use a torque wrench and follow manufacturer specs. Too tight is as bad as too loose. I've seen cars where one loose bolt led to uneven tire wear and $900 repairs. Spending $100 on a retorque would have prevented it all. Tight bolts keep everything solid, safe, and quiet. It's crazy. But your suspension depends on the parts most drivers ignore, the tires. 6. Keep your tires happy. Your suspension is designed around your tires. If tire pressure is low, suspension parts take extra abuse. Bushings wear, shocks work harder, alignment drifts. I've seen cars wear out suspension parts 30% faster because of poor tire care. The fix: rotate every 8,000 miles and ensure you're running the correct size. Balanced. Healthy tires protect the suspension and extend its life. Think of your tires as your suspensions. Bodyguards, they take the hit first. But there's one enemy they can't block: salt. And it eats everything in sight. 5. Always rinse off salt. Winter salt destroys suspension. It corrodes springs, control arms, and brake lines. One pickup I inspected had rusted through control arms after just 3 winters without undercarriage rinses. The repair bill? Over $3,000. Protect your ride by rinsing weekly in winter. Focus on wheel wells, suspension mounts, and drain holes. A $10 wash saves thousands. Rust doesn't care how careful you drive. It eats through steel quietly until it fails. And speaking of steel, sometimes the real danger comes from the parts you choose to replace. 4. Use quality. Replacement parts. Cheap aftermarket parts often don't fit right, fail early, and cost you more in labor. Example: A $20 ball joint versus a $200 OEM part. That savings disappears when the cheap joint fails in a year. It's costing double in labor and damage. Always replace suspension parts in pairs, one new, one old, throws off balance. Don't delay repairs and don't cheap out on critical parts. Pay a little more now, save a lot later. And while parts matter, so does the one fluid most people forget. Power steering fluid. Point 3. Inspect. Your power steering fluid, steering and suspension are connected. In dirty power steering fluid destroys seals, tie rods and bushings at 1,400 phi. Contaminated fluid grinds parts apart. First signs: stiff steering and groaning noises. Ignore them and the repairs climb into the thousands. Check fluid monthly. Flush every 3 years or 50,000 miles. Off-road drivers, do it sooner. Fresh fluid is cheap protection. And if you think fluids don't matter, just wait until you hear about shock oil. 2. Flush your shock. Oil, high-end and rebuildable shocks rely on oil to keep damping smooth. Over time, that oil breaks down, leading to shock fade. Suddenly, your ride feels sloppy, corners roll wider, braking feels unstable. Flush shock oil every 30 to 50,000 miles. One customer delayed until 60,000. His shocks felt like jelly. A $180 flush saved him from a $1,500 rebuild. Fresh oil equals fresh suspension life. And here's the twist. Modern suspensions aren't always steel. They're often air. 1. Keep air springs. Pressurized air suspensions ride like clouds until leaks appear. Underinflated airbags fold wrong, crack, and leak. The compressor then runs non-stop until it fails. Check air pressure against factory specs. Spray soapy water on fittings. Bubbles mean leaks. Catching them early prevents $3,000 disasters. Air suspension feels amazing, but it demands attention. And before we finish, 2 bonus tips could save you thousands without touching the road. Bonus 1. Rotate. Where you park, parking on the same slope every day loads one side of your suspension. Over years, springs sag unevenly and bushings compress. Switch directions back in one day, pull forward the next. Balance even while parked, and you'll double suspension life. Bonus 2. Protect from sunburn. UV rays dry and crack suspension rubber, especially in hot climates. Park in shade or use a cover. A $50 car cover can save you from $1,000 in dried out bushings and seals. There you have it, 15 suspension secrets mechanics don't want you to know, plus 2 bonus tips. Some of these fixes cost almost nothing, but skipping them can cost thousands. Which of these are you already guilty of? Comment below and share your story. Don't forget to subscribe for more real-world car advice. Check out our next video, where we expose the biggest tire myths.